This episode of The Fizz is sponsored by Ross Farms. Ross Farms is a multi-generational farm in West Virginia that focuses on family and preserving a simpler way of life. Check out their YouTube channel to see more. What's going on, Fizz Nation? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by again this week. Y'all, today is one of my favorite days of the entire year. It's March 10th, which I already love for two reasons, but this year specifically there is a third reason. The special third reason is today is the start of daylight savings time in America. So yes, we did lose an hour of sleep last night, but if you have watched this channel long enough, you know that spring is one of my favorite seasons of the entire year. And even though the first official day of spring is 9 days away on March 19th, to me, spring forward represents the beginning of spring. And of course, starting today, we get later sunsets, which means longer daylight hours. And your boy is solar powered over here, so it's a really good day. Also, happy Mario Day. March 10th, MAR10, you get it. But in the year of our Lord 2024, the stars and planets have aligned, and spring forward happens to be falling on March 10th, which is another very important day, not only in my calendar, but it should be for all of your calendars. Today is Chuck Norris's 84th birthday. That's right, folks, one of my favorite action heroes of all time is 84 years young. You know, Chuck Norris, the guy who sleeps with a pillow under his gun. The guy who doesn't actually do push-ups, he just pushes the world down. When God said, "Let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please." Fair warning, I'm going to be sprinkling a lot of these throughout this video. Like I said, Chuck Norris is one of my favorite action heroes of all time, and I was coming into my prime as a human being when the Chuck Norris facts got huge. I'm such a big fan that I have a very silly tradition which I'm now going to share with you. About a decade ago, I named my beard Chuck. Obviously after Chuck Norris, because behind Chuck Norris's beard, there is not a chin, there's only another fist. And the silly tradition that I started is every year on Chuck Norris's birthday, March 10th, we get rid of the beard and we transition into our spring and summer look. And then Chuck the beard comes back in the fall. So before we get this party started, excuse me 1 minute. All right, there we go. That's much better. Whenever Chuck Norris wants to shave, he just roundhouse kicks himself in the face, because nobody cuts Chuck Norris but Chuck Norris. All right, y'all, that's enough of that. Thank you for indulging me with my silly little spring tradition. Hopefully Chuck will be pleased. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the content you guys are here to see. This week we're trying something that I think's been around for a little while, but I have never seen and never heard of before. This is gonna be one of those craft sodas that you guys sent me, and this is one I've been really looking forward to trying. But before we start, let me ask you something. What's your favorite dessert? I think a lot of you are probably gonna say like a cheesecake or a pie, maybe like a cinnamon roll. But if you're not watching this video from someplace in the South, when was the last time you had coffee cake? And I'll do you one better. Was the first thought that went through your mind, gee, I wish this was carbonated? Because I would imagine that is exactly what our friend Melba thought one day. This is coffee cake soda from Melba's Fixins. Now, for transparency's sake, I have never heard of Melba's Fixins before. After I got this bottle, when I decided I was going to go ahead and review it, I did some research like I always try to do to figure out what the history of this brand is and how long this has been on the market. And I couldn't really find much. Just about every result that I found pointed to the Amazon store where you could purchase these flavors. So I don't know much about this brand's history, but I'm intrigued at what they have to offer. So some of y'all have been around since the Facebook Live days. And if you have, you may remember that we did a couple of reviews from a brand called Lester's Fixins. Those generally tend to be like joke brands that you share with your friends and have a laugh over. They're not very good. They're just kind of something that you do as a prank. Like we tried their bacon flavored soda once. It wasn't really all that good, but it was fun to try. And I think they did have a couple more serious flavors as well, but we never really got to those. So I'm interested to know if the same people who made Lester's Fixins also had a hand in Melba's Fixins. Now, like I said, when I was trying to do research for this episode, I found a lot of Amazon listings for Melba's Fixins flavors, and they all appear to be very pleasant, enjoyable flavors. They got dessert flavors like apple pie, lemon meringue pie, key lime pie. In addition to coffee cake, there's a birthday cake flavor and a carrot cake flavor. Now, all of these sound incredible, so I'm assuming that if Melba's Fixins is in fact associated with Lester's Fixins in any way, they're kind of the arm of the brand that's more serious, more enjoyable, like traditional craft sodas with dessert type flavors. In what universe do you not want that? So obviously, as soon as this showed up on my doorstep, I knew this was definitely going to be the ones I wanted to try as quickly as possible. And I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. You guys know what time it is. Time to go ahead and pop the top, give it the old sniff test. And as we see, we've got one of those metal tops. So the question always remains, will it twist or do we have to pry it? So let's go ahead and try and twist it. I do not think I can twist it, but that's fine because we have our handy dandy Maryland crab bottle opener. Let's go ahead and slap it on there and give it a pry. There we go. Now maybe this is twistable, I'm just weak, but Let's go ahead and give the sniff test and see what it tells us. So immediately I'm getting a sort of just vanilla scent from this. Maybe even a hint of caramel. Caramel? Is that how you say that? I say caramel. Yeah, sort of like a vanilla caramel scent to it. It is really pleasant. It's absolutely the type of scent that if they made an air freshener of it, I would buy it. But as you know, the sniff test is only going to get us so far, so without any further ado, let's go and grab our trusty glass with ice, give it the old pour, and just see how pleasant this can actually be. All right, so if you watched our Thanksgiving live stream of the turkey and gravy soda from Jones, you would have seen that it basically looked like carbonated chicken broth when it came out of the bottle. And this is a very similar color to that. Just sort of like a tan, light brown. Not very dark, not very concentrated, but it is very, very carbonated, as you can see. Speaking of drinking, after a long night of wild partying, Chuck Norris doesn't throw up. Chuck Norris throws down. All right, y'all, it's time to toss it back, give it the old taste test, and see what we can find. So, happy spring forward, happy birthday, Chuck Norris. Here's to you. Oh, wow. This is absolutely delightful. So right off the bat, it is very pleasantly sweet. I'm definitely detecting a very strong caramel flavor. It definitely tastes like there's a little bit of vanilla in there, but the strength of this flavor, very much like Chuck Norris, these guys did not pull any punches with the flavor. But right underneath of that sort of vanilla caramel mix, another sip reveals a sort of cinnamon undertone, which is exactly what you might experience with a sort of like crumbly cake. You know, those cinnamon clumps? It's crazy. It's like every time I take a sip of this, I'm getting something new. This flavor is so dynamic. Like, it's not in your face, cause your throat to itch sweet, but it is very pleasantly sweet. And obviously this is a craft soda, it's got real cane sugar instead of the corn syrup, which, as you know, I always prefer. And like, the aftertaste is the exact same as the initial taste. I've tried flavors like this where it's like kind of got like a bitter aftertaste or like a stale aftertaste. This doesn't have anything like that. It's a very pleasant flavor. I'm impressed, I like it. I'm kind of sad I only have one of these. Okay, so what do I think of Melba's Fixins coffee cake soda? Very much like Chuck Norris, I think that there is no weakness here. This is a very strong, competent, and confident flavor. It's mixed very well, it's very evenly balanced. It's not like some novelty flavors I've had where it feels like the multiple flavors are competing against each other. Everything in this works very well together. It's a good balance, it's a good harmony. I would very much recommend that y'all get on Amazon and try this as quickly as you can. Because seriously, this is really doing it for me. It is not even a question. I'm gonna go ahead and give Melba's Fixins coffee cake soda 5 out of 5 sips. And I definitely want to try more from this brand. All right, Fizz Nation, that's gonna go ahead and do it for me this week. Thank you again so much for stopping by. What is your favorite Chuck Norris fact? Let me know in the comments down below. While you're at it, go ahead and roundhouse kick that like button into submission. It really helps the channel out a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss any notifications for future videos. I'm gonna get out of here and finish this up, probably order some more. You guys have an awesome week. Happy spring forward, happy birthday, Chuck Norris, and we will see you next time.